Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Two Drink Minimum, the podcast that was canceled 4 times this morning, but we're back. The gentleman on your screen right now is comedy legend, Mike Ward.
I am Mike Ward. You're Pantelis.
That's me.
Our third mic over there.
The buffoon on your screen.
How you doing?
Poseidon.
And Poseidon. And we have a special guest today, the amazing Mr. Jim Florentine. Hey, Jim, how's it going?
Welcome,
Good,
Jim.
man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for fucking doing this.
I don't think me and you ever met before.
Yeah, we met years and years ago at the Comedy Works.
Oh, okay. At Jimbo's old room.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I love that room, man. I miss that place.
Yeah. I remember you were amazing that night. I guess you're good every night, but the night I saw you, it was amazing.
It was even better than usual.
That was the only place I could perform in Canada. That's the only place they would let me for a while, so I like that room.
It was crazy too, because those were the years that you were on Stern a lot. So everyone, like, between every bit, we're just yelling "Baba Booey," and I was like, "How the fuck does he not murder people between his jokes?" You're just telling him, I'm not Baba Booey.
I know. I would tell him, if that was my nickname, but all right, I get it. You're like Howard Stern. What do you want me to do? Move on? I know. I did. I was used to it at that point.
Yeah, it was funny because I was looking at you going, fuck, I would have lost it like a million times on stage, but you were just acting like nothing was happening.
I had to. I had no choice. I've done a billion of those shows, even the guys with those Howard Stern comedians like Artie Lang and all those guys. So I was used to them just being animals and yelling the whole show.
Hey, when is the new season of Crank Yankers starting? Yeah,
it's on. I think this is the last week of original shows.
Really?
30. I don't know how it is in Canada. On the States, it might be a little different. I know it was really popular back in the day in Canada, the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's back. And, the last episode of the new season is tomorrow night on Comedy Central in the States. And then we're going to do another season at some point. We booked up for another season. So,
are you still doing special ed?
We're trying. I do another character on there, Bobby Fletcher. It's just my voice.
Okay.
But, I used to do 2 characters, that and special ed. But, times have changed over the last 12 years since the show got canceled. And we're trying to get it past the censors. I did a bunch of calls for special ed, and they said they're working on it. That was the last I heard. They want to do it, the people behind Crank Gang. It's just a matter of getting it past, the big-time people. I tell them, you guys live in a bubble in Hollywood. Most people don't care about this.
Yeah.
Well, you'd be surprised, Jim. You'd be surprised. I mean, you guys have your shit in order now. At least you're coming out of New York right now, right? Everything's fine over there, I see.
Yeah.
No one's overreacting.
Pretty close to New York. Yeah, I mean, there's chaos, but, I don't know what the hell's going on, man.
Yeah, we had an interesting time this morning. One of our fans had tweeted a photo of us in cop uniforms as like a way to promote the show today. And then some open micers were commenting saying, you guys are for police brutality. You should be ashamed of yourselves. They started like a Facebook rant apparently that we should get canceled because if someone makes art of you as a police officer, it means that you want to beat people up as a police officer. So just nonsense this morning, Jim.
And I like how they're trying to cancel us. We're on YouTube and iTunes.
Yeah.
So who the fuck's gonna cancel us?
It was like when I remember Adam Carolla a few years ago made fun of some transgender people, did a joke or something like that, and they were starting to go after him. He's like, I own my podcast. You can't take anything away from me. It's my company.
Yeah, they don't get, and also I think they just wanted to make, the way I understand it, they're like, you guys should feel bad. Because we're responsible for this, apparently. We're responsible for cops beating people up, as if we're for police brutality. As comedians are for the state having this much power. Just idiocy.
What's crazy is you've argued that many times that there should be less government and not more.
Yeah, obviously, but these are...
Like, you're against all that. Like, I don't understand where
Poseidon,
they get that.
These are imbeciles, all right? When the Brooklyn open mics
you
closed...
You can be for less government, but still at the same time want the government to beat its citizens.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't make sense to me.
See what happens when the open mics in Brooklyn get shut down? They got nothing else to do, and they take out their frustrations online. That's what
It's
happens.
weird, though. When I started doing comedy, none of the other comedians would ever tell on each other. especially over like a joke or you guys in a cop uniform. Nobody ever did that.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like we were hiding, you know, hideous crimes. We just were like in it together, and we just stuck together because everybody else was against us. The rest of the world, like these comedians, they shouldn't be able to talk on colleges or whatever, telling dirty jokes. So we all stuck together, and now you got this whole new wave of comedians just want to tell on other comedians.
Yeah,
it's like, well, it's going to happen to you sometime too. You're going to make a joke that's inappropriate that someone's going to take the wrong way.
Oh, it
you're
did.
Setting the trend by doing this shit.
It actually happened instantly because, like, in the thread, our fans caught some stuff that they had done that was questionable in the past, and they just started posting, like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And they just started posting them. And I was like, because I really didn't want this. But, you know, if that's, you know, you start a war, you can't be inside a fucking glass house. We will destroy it. It is a stupid, stupid glass house. So, yeah, Jim, apart from that, you're staying safe, right? You're not too nervous about rioting?
No, I mean, you know, I'm in the suburbs, so I'm pretty safe where I am, you know, but you never know. I mean, they're going all over. I think a couple more nights and I think it's going to calm down. I think they're going to run out of energy. I'm hoping.
Well, let's see, because every time I think it's going to calm down, I see crazy tweets from politicians just reigniting it.
Yeah. You know, everyone's blaming on each other here in the States. You know, the one side's blaming the other side side's blaming the other side. So, you know, when you have a politician making a decision about whether to go outside and open up with the coronavirus or about, you know, should the cops get involved and arrest these people protesting and the punks that are breaking windows?
Yeah.
And they don't want to lose one vote if they make a decision either way, then nothing gets done. And that's what's going on here.
Yeah, I noticed that they're like right on the fence because they're scared to speak out. Especially, I saw a lot of those videos of like those black women yelling at white ladies that were spray painting Black Lives Matter and breaking Starbucks. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And they would turn around and be like, we're doing this for you. Right. And she's like, I never fucking asked you. Get the fuck out of here. We're going to get blamed for this. But then people are just scared to take sides. It's like, well, if I go against them, am I going against the entire group? No, you're going against hooliganism.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of rational person wants any minority or any non-minority to get beat up by cops? No rational person wants that.
The poor homeless guy that had his mattress burnt,
set on fire. Yeah, the mattress was there to help him. They set his belongings on fire yesterday in Houston, I think it was.
Jesus.
And then they brought in
Austin.
Another homeless guy's mattress. They threw it on top of it, and then that caught fire too. So everything was on fire. And then they're just filming it. That's the thing. They're cheering and filming it. No one's helping.
No.
And then we're the bad guys for making fun of them.
Yeah. And then there was a video today, though, of that homeless guy. Apparently, people raised a lot of money for him, and he was thanking people. He was like, you raised so much money for me. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. But he's still wearing the same fucking shirt, and you could tell he just shit his pants like 3 minutes ago. God. So I don't know how much money they raised for him, but it's just going to go into crack.
Well, how's he going to get the money? He's like, thank you for the check. I do not have a bank account.
Yeah. I don't think he has Venmo.
Yeah, he's not going to get that shit PayPal. He's someone else is taking that.
By the way, I think one of my dreams has to do with the current situation, the rioting and all that.
Right, yeah, because you had two, you said, and I like, that's a very good segue.
Yeah, you've been busting our balls about these fucking dreams since before we started. What happened?
Well, look, I'll explain to you because, like, I had these dreams last night and they were very strange. So the first one being, so we were in public. It was me and Pantelis, and there was this very cute girl to my left, but she was very like SJW, Antifa, like that kind of mentality. You know what I mean? And I was hitting on her in the dream, and then
because she looked like a little boy, and that's how I like him.
No. And then I turned to my right. And Pantelis, he's like,
stop speaking about me in the third fucking person. I'm right here, bro.
And then and then you're like, you're doing this,
okay,
like no good. And then my dream cuts to me ditching her. We had a date or something, and then a riot breaks out downtown. And in the dream, I had a really, really long dick that I wrapped around my waist. That was a weapon, and the head. Yeah, and the head was like a wrecking ball. And basically, when the riot broke out, I went in running through the streets with my dick out, swinging it like a wrecking ball and hitting people looting stores.
This is a human being.
This was one of my dreams. I woke up very confused.
So, these are the rambling thoughts of a psychotic. That's why you were so eager to tell us that you're fucking mental.
Well, no, because like I woke up like what the fuck was that? You know, so I gotta like I don't know. I had to say it to someone.
What
I had
was
to get it off my
happening to
chest.
people like in your dream when you were cock slapping them?
I was just whacking them.
Were they saying anything?
Were they
just fall-
falling down or
Yeah, they were just falling down. Just and I was fighting the people breaking into stores and looting and breaking businesses and stuff.
Now, what about the girl you were trying to hit on? Was she
I
impressed by you
ditched
just
her, I
wrapped
ditched
around
her.
your waist?
Yeah, she wasn't impressed by that.
I don't know. That's the images I've retained from my dream.
Imagine the ones he didn't retain. God damn. What did you drink last night?
Nothing.
Jesus Christ.
I just drank some water and went to bed.
No, that's a little excessive though, Poseidon. Honestly, that's a little fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
Very étrange. And what was
I'm a
your
little
second?
worried. I think I should go see a psychologist.
Yeah, well, they're closed
I
right
think, yeah. You should have had that thought 18 years ago, I think.
now. You know what I found out, Jim? I don't know if they're reopening, I guess, around New York right now, anything, but I found out that this whole time I was told that essential services are open here. And so we opened up liquor stores, marijuana dispensaries, groceries are all open. But I found out from a buddy who is toothless now that dentists were still closed. So selling alcohol was considered essential, but this guy's walking around toothless. Guido was walking around toothless the other day because the dentists are fucking closed. It's anarchy. There's no logic behind this.
I think in the States, I think a couple dentists are allowed to open for emergency service only. So, but in Canada, so they won't even let them open.
No. Well, I mean, in Montreal, at least, apparently they're not
Right.
open. Because I was telling him, what the fuck happened to your tooth? Just go get it glued. He's like, I tried, bro. They're fucking closed. It's yelling. Yeah, Guido Grasso, he's toothless now. He's walking around with one fucking front tooth missing.
I think that's just a Montreal thing, though. If he went
Going
out like
toothless?
anywhere else in Canada, they'd fix his tooth. Or
Yeah.
it might be a racist anti-Italian thing.
Like, no, you stay like that. We're not
I
helping.
see
you.
I super glued a front tooth and it broke one time when I was eating a sandwich right before a show.
Fuck.
I was like, and I went and I got super glue at the store and I just put it on and I held it in there and it stayed for like 3 days till I went to the dentist.
Did you glue it to the gum?
I know it broke in half the tooth.
Ah,
the
okay,
front
so you were
tooth,
lucky, yeah.
like 3/4 of it. So I just pushed it back on the regular tooth. And the dentist was furious that I used,
Oh,
super glue
no.
in my mouth. But I'm like, hey, I had shows to do. I couldn't. How am I going to do a show with whistling as I'm telling jokes?
I was telling them, Jim, years ago, my mother, she didn't want to sue them, but she was at the dentist, and I had the same dentist. It was an Asian lady who was always on the phone when she was doing stuff. Like one time I was doing a root canal, it was painful, and she was telling ghost stories like this with the phone, telling ghost stories about her grandma with, I don't know if it was her friend or her sister or whatever. And then my mom went in for something, and they had done like a plaster in the front. It was like taking a mold of her teeth or something, and they left it in there. And they had a conversation, they forgot about her, and apparently that thing dried up. So then they tried to pull it out. They tried to pull it down, and it was already too stuck. So it came off and broke off the other side. It smashed her other teeth, broke those off. I think it was the bottom that broke the top, actually. And she was screaming. Yeah, her teeth were out. They were going crazy. She was asking them to call me, and they were refusing because they knew me. They're like, no, don't call your son. Don't call your son. He's going to go crazy. And yeah, this whole thing, they tried to fix her stuff up for free after. And I told her to sue, but she never wanted to sue them. It destroyed her mouth.
Yeah, those things, I've had those molds done, with stuff. And yeah, you got about 3 minutes before you got to take that out. Even at 3 minutes, you feel like all your teeth are coming out. So if they left that in long.
Oh, they left it long. She said they were having a conversation. She had no clue, so she can't tell them, hey, this is going to... She doesn't know what they're doing. So
and
then
plus, she's got a thing in her mouth.
Yeah.
How is she going to talk?
And he came in like rushing, like, oh, shit, whatever. And the Chinese lady was like scrambling. They pulled it and broke the other teeth. Yeah, she was traumatized for a bit. Yeah, it's only lighthearted stories today. It's riots and teeth breaking.
Yeah.
So Poseidon, what was the second dream? I'm curious.
The second dream, I opened up a very exclusive and luxurious whorehouse.
Jesus, okay.
And you can only get into it by sliding. There was a roof entrance. And
Did you have any employees, or it was like a one-man show?
No.
I
had a
am
bunch
the
of
whore.
employees.
Okay,
I had a
one-man
bunch of
operation.
employees. And the only way you can enter was there was an entrance at the roof with a slide going down, and you can only enter the
top?
whorehouse by sliding.
From the top? So it's just for Batman. It's just for Batman.
That's pretty cool. You go down a slide and then go get a blowjob.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
And it was all like luxurious. It was all like Greek themed. Like there was pillars all over the place and bronze statues and shit. And there was like there was pools, there was bathtubs, and you can even get a haircut. You could get for women were also able to get pedicures. Like it was like an all-inclusive whorehouse that you can do anything.
I like how he
can
said it
get
was
anything.
Greek themed. He's like, there's a lot of guys there, a lot of dudes. I didn't really question it.
Now, why was there no front door?
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know,
more
man. Honestly, it's my dream. I
luxurious.
have no clue. That's how my dream was. So that was the second one, and I
You
woke
think in
up
your
again.
dream, like since you're like this very luxurious, you're like, how do rich people live?
Yeah.
Rich people slide
think so?
into their living room. That's what we should have.
You think I probably saw like a video, like a Instagram video of a really rich person's house, and he had a slide in it, and in my dreams, like my brain just put two and two together.
I think you saw a cartoon of Richie Rich. Or
There's a
Scrooge
pole.
McDuck. There's a room you can swim in coins. It's amazing.
Jim Poseidon is he's a little bit younger. He's a bit mentally deficient. So he's kind of like our connection to like actual millennials. Like not even, I think even later than millennials. You're pretty young. How old are you?
I'm 26.
So he knows all the lingo. He understands. He's our key to them. He's our gateway. And for us, he represents the youth. This is the future, Jim.
He's the future of
yeah,
our
that's
nation.
good. I mean, but he seems like he's all right if he's a part of this show.
Yeah.
Not on the other side.
Yeah, he's
Which a lot of those millennials are. You know, they get offended very easily.
Oh no, he takes a beating here.
Oh,
He's
no,
a good
I
sport.
don't get offended.
No, that's good. There should be more of you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always impressed when I find young guys like that still like busting balls and telling dirty jokes. You know what I mean? And drinking beers and like going to a strip club. I'm like, man, that's fucking. You got raised well.
You guys still have a lot of those in New York, though. I think in the States in general, they're a little bit still like tougher and kind of like, fuck it, let's just just don't be an asshole and we're good. Here, people, I feel like they're a bit more scared now. They're kind of like, oh no, but that's kind of frowned upon. So they're kind of hesitant to be themselves.
Yeah. Well, you mean you're talking like strip clubs?
No, in general, just in general, the way people are like him.
Yeah, I know.
He's not scared to be himself, despite all the people around him in his age group.
Yeah.
Kind of hating that about him. They want him kind of to be a bit more of a phony. And I mean, he is what he is. He's a very flawed gentleman, but he doesn't hide it.
No.
Nor can he.
No. You know, unfortunately, you know, a lot of comedians, when they took that route, like whatever they needed to do at that time, just, you know, are just mediocre. They just fell in the middle. They never went anywhere because they just followed trends. I remember a comedian like 2006 in New York City going, hey man, my agent said don't be edgy anymore. And they're not looking for edgy comedians, so I'm not going to be edgy. I go, why would you listen to a fucking agent? He knows no. And meanwhile, the guy just took all the edge away from his jokes, and he just fell into obscurity because he was funny and he was different. You know what I mean? But he just listened to some guy because he's trying to get on a TV show, and now the guy's basically out of the business because of that.
Yeah, I don't know what the fear is of being you. I mean, especially in what we do, people come to us for that special. You're the only Jim Florentine. If you're one of 50, what the fuck is going to make you special? Why would people buy tickets to come see the same shit they would have seen last week with another comic? It's absurd to me.
You know how much I must suck to like change everything about your act so you can get on Fallon? And then you get on Fallon and you realize no one watches the fucking Tonight Show anymore.
Oh, fuck.
So you're like, I changed everything and no one even knows.
I remember I went on Jimmy Kimmel's show probably 12 years ago when Crank Anchors came out, and I plugged, like I was at the Funny Bone in St. Louis or whatever. And I asked every audience, how many people saw me on the Funny Bone? 2 people over 6 shows.
Oh, shit.
Saw me on there. You know, nothing against Kimmel's show, but that just wasn't drawing people into a comedy club, those late night spots anymore. So me doing a 5-minute, like you said, a 5-minute set on Fallon, changing everything you're about, you're not going to start filling comedy clubs all of a sudden. You're a dime a dozen.
Yeah, and also real comedy fans, they have other options now, like on podcasting. Like if it's much better for you to associate yourself with funny people that are already being watched. Like there's gonna be more traction if you're on Barstool and people who like that and are going to pay money to come see you, or Jim and Sam, or anything, with Komi, anything like that, than it would be to do a late night spot of people who watch it that aren't going to clubs. It's not the same people. It's not the same demographic that go to clubs that watch these shows. So it doesn't help anymore. It's the system shifted, and if you're not ready to, I don't know, do a podcast, be yourself, be funny, and let the people that like you find you and connect with you, if you want to mold yourself into what they want on the TV, it's never going to work. It's never.
Plus, you're watering down a lot of your jokes, to make them safe for TV. So they're not even seeing the best of your jokes. So if someone sees you at 12:30 at night, laying in bed watching the last 5 minutes of a talk show, like, he's all right.
Yeah.
Wasn't great. I don't know if I'd buy a ticket for $25 to go see him. It was okay.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, I was like, let me show you what I can do in a club, but you can't see that on TV.
Yeah. It's crazy how the networks still censor comics at 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
What, like, I'm trying to figure out what they're thinking. Like, I guess it's the old mentality that there might be kids watching, but kids can watch the internet now. Like, they're on
YouTube all day. They're on their iPads or whatever. They're not watching Jimmy Fallon at 12:27 when the comedian comes on.
Yeah, and even if they are, who gives a fuck? Like, what can the comedian say right now, especially on TV if he's on Fallon, that is going to destroy this kid's life that he can't look up himself? It doesn't make sense. We're acting like we don't know the internet exists.
When you were on Kimmel, were you doing a stand-up or you were on like doing panel?
I did panel because it was when Crank Anchors came out.
Okay.
Crank Anchors, but I've done other stand-up. I did when Craig Kilborn had his late show with Craig Kilborn. I did stand-up on there. I did George Lopez's show where I did stand-up. One good thing about both of those shows is they were just fans, and then when the booker said, "We want you on the show," I go, "Okay, you want to see a set?" They go, "No, they trust you. Just let us know if there's any jokes that you think we might have a problem with before your set." I'm like, "This is amazing."
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
They would follow me around for 10 weeks, critiquing, taking jokes out. Like I was up at the Tonight Show at one point, and I was passed, but then they had to see me, and they followed me around. I had to send 7 different sets in. Like, don't say this word, try to say this, and it just wasn't working. I wound up never doing it. But I like those other shows where they just said, no, just be, and if the worst comes to worst, we'll just beep it out if you say something inappropriate, which was great.
Oh, that's amazing. And then the good thing about doing a set like that is even if it's a show that isn't as big as like the Tonight Show, when you get it on YouTube, everyone can see it.
And it's a good set.
Closer to what you are for real than if you were doing the Tonight Show.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, look, there's a comics that have done 20 Jimmy Fallons and Conan O'Brien's and, sells 30 tickets over the course of 6 shows at a comedy club. So it really doesn't do anything. You really got to stand out. So, but if you want to write your act geared towards TV shows, late night TV shows, hardly anyone gets it, moves up in the world and starts selling tickets.
Yeah, there was this sudden shift in the entire industry. And I guess some people that, we jumped on the bandwagon of where the success was headed, they're fine. They didn't notice. And then other people who try to adjust to the old, which was the late night, okay, let me just get a late night spot and then I made it. They're still trying. It's like they're just running in a fucking wheel like a hamster. And they see that it doesn't work. Just be your fucking self and create something. Let people come to you.
Well, what was the impact like in when you used to do Howard Stern when that show was really big? That must have been like
huge.
A game changer, right?
It was like the Tonight Show with Carson back in the day. A comic went on there, and then all of a sudden they had an agent, and they were a star overnight. That's how much when he was on regular radio with like 20 million people supposedly listening. That's what it did for him to plug gigs on there. I was all of a sudden selling out. I was featuring in comedy clubs in the States. I went on there. I was headlining like City B and C rooms. So I had 45 minutes to an hour, but I was featuring at like Funny Bones and Improvs. And I went on there. He plugged one weekend. I sold out 6 shows headlining.
Fuck, bro.
Because he took like the degenerates in. He took like the degenerate comics in and brought them in. And it's like he gave them a home. Guys that had fucked up stories. He loved that stuff, a little edgy and out there. So it was great for us. We're like, cool. We don't need Letterman and, all that shit. If because we'll never get on there. Acts are too edgy for that. But Stern was, and I like that crowd better anyway.
Yeah.
Because I grew up listening to him, so I knew all those blue collar people would enjoy my material.
And he was just that microphone. He gave you the mic. He presented you to everyone and you took advantage. You're like, oh, there's my people. I'm gonna fucking roll with it.
Stern was great. Like he'd take you under his wing for a few years and then let you go and bring other people in. Hey man, I gave you a start. Now go take advantage of it. Goodbye. You know what I mean? And some people that can't get on the show anymore are mad at him. I'm like, hey man, the guy gave me an unbelievable opportunity.
Yeah.
He made my career because of that. If the show has changed and he has different guests on and A-listers, that's fine. It's no big deal. I had my shot. I got my audience from it and I moved on. And I got other stuff from it. So it worked out.
Also, the show is different now.
Yeah,
in many ways, it wouldn't make sense to go backwards.
Yeah, he's older now. It's tough for, a guy in his mid-60s to have a 19-year-old come in. He says, "Take your top off. I'll see if you need implants or not." That's kind of creepy. It's in the mid-60s. You can get away with that till about like early 40s, maybe.
It's a different world.
Yeah. There's something very creepy about a 60-year-old telling a 20-year-old to squirt in front of him.
Yeah, turn around. Let me see your ass. Oh, that's nice. Is your mom hot? I used to love that shit. It was so taboo.
Yeah.
And then he's dancing on Ellen. Like, something here doesn't fucking fit in. There's something weird.
Yeah, times have changed so much. Like, I remember when he was on here in Montreal, he was only on for like a year or a year and a half. But he did a thing once where a woman was having an orgasm, and they had that scene in his movie Private Parts where the woman is having an orgasm on the air, rubbing her clit on a speaker. And I remember listening to the radio and just jerking off. Listening to the radio, and I was like, what the fuck? This is very different than all those morning zoos. Like, I never thought of jerking off while listening to radio before.
Yeah, you never listened to Steve in the morning. You wanted to jerk off, yeah.
Yeah, his show was so out of control. It was so ahead of its time. And it was great because it was so taboo to listen to. That's why I totally loved it. It just pissed middle America off. All people that were uptight hated him. Like, that's even better. I love that.
Yeah. How did you get on his radar?
I put a prank call CD out with like all these prank calls, like when telemarketers would call my house.
Oh yeah.
I just made one up. I printed it up myself just to sell at my gigs and try to get my name out there. And I gave it to one of the guys at the show, Gary Delabate, the producer. I dropped it off to him. He goes, "All right, if it's funny, we'll play it." That's all he said. I saw a stack of like 50 CDs on his desk. I'm like, he's never going to play this. I go, I got no shot. And the next morning he started playing. He's like, "Who is this dude? This guy's really funny." And that's how I got on there from there. He's like, he kept playing my prank calls on there. And then I came in and sat in a bunch of times. That's how I got on. I would have never thought. I just put it out just to get my name out there. I was like, whatever. I'll just, sell it after my shows. People maybe come back and see me or something. I didn't take a liking to it.
Was Artie on there at that time, or it was still Jackie the Joke Man?
No, it was after Jackie left. It was when all these different comics were coming in and sitting in. So, there's a whole row. We didn't know they were going to hire anybody. They just said we're going to have different guys come in. So it was me, Doug Stanhope, Greg Fitzsimmons, Artie, Adam Carolla, Jimmy Kimmel, Chappelle, Craig Gass. Probably forgetting a few, but all of us were just rotating, sitting in that chair for like 8 months. And then Artie wound up getting the full-time gig, but it was great sitting in the whole show and getting those plugs. They were golden.
Yeah.
It's cool that there was times like that where there was opportunity and there was kind of kingmakers where if you're talented and you can at least get it out there, those old days, like, here's my CD, we can do it. And now it's a little different, but this whole do-it-yourself shit is still available now because of the YouTube, because of all these podcasts. It's just no one can do it for you anymore. It's not that easy. But it's cool that there was a time where as long as you're talented, someone's going to notice and fucking pick you up.
Yeah, like even Bert Kreischer, Bert was, building. He was, selling out a lot of shows at the clubs. And then he put that famous story as about the machine, about that the whole Russian story with the Russian mob. He put it on Facebook. Just put the 15-minute story on there, and he just blew up from that story on Facebook. People had never even seen him before, like, holy shit.
That's when they made the cartoon.
Huh?
So, some fan, I think, had made a cartoon of it online, of the whole machine story. And then, you're right, it just exploded. So
he went from playing improvs to selling out theaters, just from getting that out there on Facebook or wherever it was. And he found a whole new audience. And that was the thing that did it for him.
Yeah. Are you doing shows now? Like, they started doing shows in Florida, and have you started doing shows yet or not yet?
I did a comedy drive-in show.
Oh, that must have been
with Aaron
horrible.
Berg.
It wasn't that bad, actually.
Really?
There's these guys down in Atlantic City. They have this whole little comedy scene down there. And they contacted me a few weeks ago. Hey, we're doing drive-in comedy shows where we got a parking lot. And we set up a microphone on top of stand that in the back of a pickup truck, and they wired in like an old drive-in movie, so the sound is on their radio. And if they like a joke, they beep.
Oh,
Is
get
it
the
is
fuck
the
out of here.
sound
That's-
like instantaneous, or there's like a couple second delay?
It's pretty much instantaneous, but they're beeping their horn, so you could see them laughing in their car because it's still light out. They do it like a 7 o'clock show, or whatever. But yeah, they're beeping the horn, so it messes you up. But you don't have to stop because they can still. If you have a tagline, you could still do it over the beeps because they can hear it.
That's fucking interesting.
It was weird. I said, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I wasn't on stage for like almost 3 months. And I'm like, I want to get up, man. I'm dying. I'm not doing anything on Saturday night. So I went down there. So I had a blast doing it.
So it was fun.
I love.
I remember one guy beeped at a joke, and I'm like, that's the first time you beeped. I know that beep. I didn't hear it the rest of the time. He's like laughing in his car.
I love how like this pandemic has changed us. That if you told us that story 6 months ago, it would have been, I did the worst fucking show ever.
Yeah,
These
in a
assholes
parking
are
lot.
beeping, and now you're like, it was amazing.
Yeah,
They were honking at me.
I started my career off doing shit gigs, working at between strippers at strip clubs and playing sports bars, and they wouldn't shut. They'd play off off on the TV, and you had to do the show anyway. People telling you to shut up. They want to watch the game. So I started doing that. So it was almost like I felt like I went back to it.
I thought about this the other day. I don't know why, because what I complained, I never got to perform at a strip club, but I've performed same thing when they don't want me to be there. The screen's on. There's a sports fucking game happening, and people are yelling like, "Get off the stage!" I never understood why they would still make me do my set.
Yeah, do your full time.
Yeah, like you fucked this whole thing up. You're letting them watch. They're not enjoying this. If anything, they're never going to come back here because they're pissed off because I'm ruining the game for them. But you're still forcing me to stay on and do my time. I don't get it. Either turn off the fucking TVs or tell me to go home.
Yeah, no, I can't turn the TVs off. People are watching the game, or they won't throw the regulars out that are sitting at the bar.
Yeah.
They're regulars. I can't throw them out. They spend a lot of money here. I'm like, well, they're ruining the whole show.
I don't know the logic.
Years ago, at Just for Laughs, they wanted to do a thing where every bar in a certain neighborhood had comedy, and there was a strip club, and the strip club didn't want comedy, but they signed a thing with Just for Laughs that they'd allow comedy if they could still have their strippers. So there'd be a stripper, then a comic, then a stripper, then a comic, and it was the worst. Like everyone knew it was going to be garbage, and it was even worse than what we thought it was going to be. There's plus, like, I was booked in the afternoon. There's something very sad about doing comedy in the afternoon in front of men that want to see naked women.
And you get the Tuesday afternoon strippers.
Yeah, you get the chubby strippers with the bruises.
If you're in a strip club during a day, like 2 in the afternoon, you got a lot of problems. You need fucking help.
They're there.
Yeah,
I know they're there. I mean,
if you're in a strip club during the day, it's because you can't afford a gun to put in your mouth.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, I'll drink my problems away instead of shooting them away.
I'll end this slowly.
Yeah.
Yo, you wanna?
But no, back to the Florida. So I got Chad Zumock. I think he was on your show.
Yeah, we had him on.
He just did some shows down there in Florida. So it's 25% capacity. One of the clubs holds 360 people, so they have 90 people in there. And they did 6 shows over the course of the week. And they sell 90 tickets instead of 360. And it's going to go to 50% in a few weeks, probably 2-3 weeks. So then you'll get a half a room. So it's starting to slowly come back, which is good.
Half a room sounds good to me.
Well, it depends. Right, my question is it half a room and you could fill it the way you want, or is it half a room and you have to have separation between each
they
table?
have to be separated.
Which isn't ideal for comedy. You want people on top of each other. But he said that the crowds are just so happy to be back to normal, sitting at a table, laughing and drinking beers, that they're great.
Well, because they want this, right? It's been fucking, we've had the quarantine. They threatened us with fucking killer bees. Now there's fucking police are killing people. There's riots everywhere. People need this.
Yeah.
People just want to shoot, just come out and hang out a bit, laugh.
They've never needed comedy more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You know what's interesting is right before the riots, let's say a week before that whole thing happened, people were talking about how maybe now cancel culture is kind of over because people are like, look, there's more fucking serious things than you being offended by someone not knowing 86 genders, right? And then now it seems like it's shifting again. Now people are really getting offended over like we can't fucking stay the course. It would seem like.
I knew it wasn't going to end. I told my friend, I said, maybe for the first week. people will be relaxed about that. Everyone's going to go right back to whatever they did before. So it's not going to be over.
Yeah, we got. I don't know what needs to happen. I think there's going to be a total separation. I think there's going to be like this class of comedian, this type of, and they're going to have their own section on the internet, their own fucking fans, their own clubs that they go to, and then there's going to be the full on safe space. Come here even if you're not funny, as long as you need a laugh. That kind of shit.
It almost feels like in America there's going to be two countries.
Yeah, the States. Yeah, you guys have it worse than us.
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody's real divided. But you know what? I noticed that as long as you don't talk about politics on stage, you know, pretty much the crowd's all into it, and they're sick of it, so they don't even want to hear it.
Yeah.
So I think that was up to the case, up to the coronavirus, and I think when it comes back, they don't want 9 comics having coronavirus jokes in a row if they're seeing a set in New York City at the Comedy Cell or whatever. So that never, people are divided in the United States when it comes to the comedy clubs. People aren't walking out more, and as long as you don't bring it up, I see when people bring it up like, you know, most of them I go, come on, we're just out to have a few laughs. So I still think we're okay in the comedy clubs.
You know, I think we should all come together. We should all agree that when we see the first comic come out of this, go on stage and pretend to cough and be like, oh, don't be scared, guys. We need to beat him to death. And then after that, I think everything's going to be fine. Just beat that hack to death because I know it's coming. I know I'm going to see it. I'm going to be at a club and say, are you guys nervous? Oh, get the fuck out of here. Just get the fuck out of here. Oh, God. It's going to happen.
No, I was telling Chad because Chad's like, I got to dress because he wasn't on stage for, 3 months either. And he was doing a show like last Wednesday. And he goes, and he was just going to host because he got on the show late. So he goes, I got to address the coronavirus. I go, Chad, don't even address it. I go, every other comic is going to be addressing it. If you're hosting, you're going to have the feature and the headliner go, hey, you going to do those coronavirus jokes? Because I'm going to do them the second show. I go, you know you're a hack right there.
Yeah.
If all the comedians are fighting over a topic. I go, so don't just say, hey, man, it's good to be back on stage, and then tell your jokes.
And it's also a topic that everyone there is aware of. Nobody walked in the club and be like, where you guys been this past couple of months? I haven't seen anyone around. Like
people are just there to forget about the virus too. Right? It's not like your job is just to make them forget how shitty everyone's life is right now.
Yeah, they lost grandparents, they lost jobs.
Yeah. They're making like no money or half the money they were before.
That's another thing I've been thinking about. Do you guys think it's going to a lot of stuff's going to change the landscape, even people that come out to our shows, just because there are a lot more unemployed people? Like, all the stuff that we do is for entertainment, and you're thinking people have expendable cash to come out, but if the unemployment rate keeps rising, some people are going to be like, fuck, I want to see them, but it's a weird time because we didn't have that the past couple of years, right? People were making money.
The thing with what's going on in the States is a lot of people are getting unemployment, and plus they're getting like $600 extra a week from the government.
Okay.
So people are making more money to stay home.
Oh shit! So you're allowed to get both. Here, I think
you're allowed to get both. You're allowed until like the end of July. So my friend's daughter's a waitress at like one of them fancy, one of those Applebee's or whatever, one of those shitty chain restaurants.
Okay.
She makes $200 a week, so she's getting $200 unemployment a week, and she's getting $600 from the government, so she's making $800 a week.
Oh shit!
One of my nephews is making like $980 a week between his unemployment and from the government, and he was making like $300 a week.
Yeah, here I think you have to pick Poseidon. That's correct, right? You have to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
You have to pick because like especially I'm upset because when I got laid off, I was gonna make a killing these past 3 months. Like I was rising pretty well because I also work on commission, and I lost out on all kinds of money. Like I would prefer to work obviously and then unemployment, but you can only pick one here.
And you're making less now.
Way less.
Even though we're paying you to do this.
Yeah, no, but I mean from that aspect, but yeah.
Well, so look, hopefully crazy. when this all the shit's over and everything opens back up, the jobs are going to be back there. There'll still be jobs for everybody. Everybody can go back to a restaurant and people start spending money again or wherever. So it won't be that bad where everyone's completely broke because everybody's getting paid from the government mostly in the States here. So they have money. And they're not spending money because they're at home. So all they're spending money on is food, basically. So they're saving a lot of money by not traveling and going on vacations and all that shit too. So hopefully it'll bounce back real quick all around the world when we're allowed back out again.
Yeah, there's a chance that we're scared.
Are you in a house or an apartment?
A house.
Okay. Have you been like going crazy with the renovations or?
Yeah. I just right before I was just at Home Depot getting mulch and stone and putting it down before I did your show. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm bored. I'm like, I might as well get this shit done. I haven't done anything for 2 years around my house. So I'll just go, I'm cleaning closets. I'm like, what happened to me?
I've erected a guest house. Oh, you think maybe, remember like a month and a half ago, they were saying the new normal, we're never going to go back to what it used to be. But you know what these riots are showing us? Because people are coming out together and they're close to each other. I think by September, people are going to give so little fucks about the virus. They're going to forcibly go back to how it used to be. They'll be like, no, I don't want to sit across this fucking guy. Just sit me next to him. This is stupid. I think people are getting so fed up now that might happen too. I think by September, people are going to be like, no, just back to normal. I can't take this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Chad said it's happening down in Florida. People are sitting right on top of each other. The bars are packed. Like nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? Like it's business as usual. And then, it's weird how the media is not saying that all these protesters and rioters are going to get the coronavirus in 2 weeks, which anyone else that was outside, oh my God, they're going to get the coronavirus, not supposed to be out. Oh, they don't mention that.
No, the coronavirus is scared of fire, apparently. We didn't know it, but that's
most the viruses go away in the summer anyway. So yeah, could this thing come back late fall, early winter? Yeah, but most of the shit, any bad flus or whatever, are gone by once the warm weather comes around. So you see it. All the numbers are going way down.
Plus, also, I think they're going way down because a lot of us didn't die from it, right? Like the death toll, if you're not at risk, is very, very low. So I think that also contributes to everything going down now. And Jim, I'm pretty sure that the only thing that we have to worry about is who's going to book shows first. I think there's going to be some smart comics right now that are already calling clubs around to be the first. So the second the gates are open, they're going everywhere. I was thinking about that before we got on. I go, should I fucking be calling places? Should I be booking while no one else is booking?
Well, the thing is, it's like we're going to have to take a pay cut if they're only allowed to sell 25% of the room. They're not going to give us 100% of our pay.
So some spots won't be worth it to travel to.
Well, look, in the States, you got Arizona, Texas, Florida. There's a few different states that are already open at 25% doing comedy for the last month or so. Then they're going to be at 50% in a couple of weeks. Then they'll be at 75%. So these other states are going to have to start opening. And if you could fit, like Mike, you said before, even 50% is still not a bad room. If you can get 50% of tickets sold.
Yeah. But it's going to be shit money. It'll just be doing it because you love doing it.
Yeah.
Look, if there's a vaccine for this thing, say October somehow, there's a lot of good research about, you never know, get a vaccine out there or it doesn't come back, then shit can get back to normal really quick, by November or something like that. We'll have to take eat it for a little while and take less money. And then if everything works out, then we'll be fine.
You think this whole vaccine thing, I'm wondering, is it going to be a case where, let's say we're at the club, are we going to tell people, look, you're free to come, anyone, we're selling out the club, but if you don't have it, it's your issue? Or are we going to be checking people? We're like, look, I got to make sure you have the vaccine.
If there's a vaccine,
it's up to you to go out at your own risk if you don't want to take it. Okay.
Because the people that are afraid of it all have had the vaccine, and people that aren't afraid of it, if they get infected, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, because I remember seeing those rants on Facebook. If this comes out and you don't get it, I don't want your kids hanging out with my kids or you hang out with me because you're putting us at risk. But I was like, but you got vaccinated.
Get your fucking kids vaccinated and shut the fuck up and stop telling your neighbors what to do.
And if you're vaccinated, then you're not going to get it from anybody
exactly.
else. Be protected.
Well, that was my argument, but they made me feel stupid. I was like, maybe I just don't understand how vaccines work.
Yeah. I think people just like judging everyone and making others feel like garbage.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah, that's a new normal, is making your neighbor feel like a piece of shit.
Because you had a barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of rats. Everyone's ratting everyone out recently.
It's been going on for a while. These new generation just telling on people, being a bunch of babies.
Yeah, what does it change? Just don't go. You know what I keep telling people? If someone's having a barbecue and you're offended that he has people over, don't go to the barbecue.
Yeah.
It ends there. Your risk. That's your whole risk assessment is, should I go to the barbecue or not? That's it. You don't have to call the cops. Especially now, you know, these cops might beat the shit out of your neighbors. You don't want to take these risks. You're gonna be responsible for that kind of shit.
And plus, like, if you're afraid of getting infected, the more people get together, the more people get infected. So the quicker we're gonna get over this. Like, because they're always saying how 70% of the population has to be infected before it can be safe for everyone.
Yeah.
So if all my neighbors are getting infected, that's fucking amazing for me.
But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's called herd immunity. They used to do that back in the day with the chicken pox. They put all the kids together to get it over with.
Yeah.
Like, just get the chicken pox now, and let's spread it around the neighborhood. Everybody get it for 5 or 6 days, and then they're fine. And then you'll never get it again.
Did you guys? I honestly, I can't remember if I ever had the chicken pox. People were telling me if you get it as an adult, you could die. But I don't know if I had it.
It's a lot more serious if you get it as an adult. So that's why they were always they wanted the kids to get out of the way. It didn't really affect them that bad.
Yeah, I can't remember if I ever had it. Like, as far as my memories go back, I don't remember ever getting it. But I might have got it when I was really young. I have no idea. I never remember getting that shit.
I think I did have it, but I'm not sure. It might have been herpes.
It might have. Well, how old were you?
I went to my uncle's house for a month.
Herpes.
Then social services found me.
Herpes. But now they're changing the stats anyway. We were talking about this last week, Jim. They're changing the stats too because they're saying, well, should we calculate everything as a COVID death? Because it doesn't really kill you. What kills you is all the stuff that you get because of COVID, like, for example, pneumonia. And so now they're trying to take away the victims that COVID, gained fair and square. So I have no idea what the hell's going on.
Yeah, well, I know in the States, like, if it's designated a COVID death, the hospital got like $40,000 from the insurance company or something like that for each one. So some kid, 21-year-old kid that got in a motorcycle accident dies in the hospital, and they do an autopsy on him in the hospital. He tested positive for coronavirus. That was listed on their coronavirus death.
That's
it's
very
anyone
sketch.
that tested positive that died in a hospital, they were putting it on their coronavirus death, no matter what it was, whether it was a heart attack or whatever, because it helped the hospital out getting money, because the hospitals are suffering because no one's coming in for operations or anything. They're all sick. They're afraid they're going to catch it if they go in the hospital.
Yeah, my buddy in Seattle was telling me, he's a radiologist, and he's like, there's a patient here. A doctor forced them to test him for COVID-19 12 times. 12 times because we get paid. So it's like the doctor's wishing that this fucking guy catches it. He goes, he tested him 12 fucking times. He goes, it's lunacy. And I was like, well, that's the system, yo. Like, what do you want me to do? That's just how it works. When you offer them money just to announce something is there, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to fucking announce it. They're going to be like, yeah, this guy has it. Let me just give it to him.
But I have a question. Let's say we all build the herd immunity and everything. We all build the antibodies. Why would we need a vaccine?
It's just going to take too long to get up to 70%.
And we might kill a lot of people in the meantime.
And a lot of people are going to die. Well, not a lot, but some people are going to die.
Like, the reason why this is happening, Poseidon, is mostly it's to not kill people, especially old people. They've worked their whole fucking lives. They build everything for us, so we shouldn't just turn our back and murder them. Yeah. That's what we're trying to do. That was the big deal. That's why here was embarrassing when the people that were dying were all the old folks' homes. We weren't taking care of them. And we were fucking, essentially, it was a death sentence. That's why it was embarrassing. Not because people died, because the people that were at risk, we didn't take care of them. And then we were all being like, yay, stay home, social distance for people that aren't at risk.
Montreal was such a fucking joke that everyone in our 30s and 40s were hiding in our basements while old people were fucking dying. Yeah. And we weren't doing shit.
Yeah, like, stay home. We're doing this together. I was like,
we're doing this for you, Grandma. We can't visit you.
Exactly. That's what happened. We didn't take care of the people that needed it. Yeah. And but have fun trying to get them to admit that now.
Yeah.
No, they're saying, like, in the States, like 40% of the deaths are from nursing homes. So we're talking over 40,000 people.
Yeah, it's
terrible. They didn't protect them. They were sending them back in the nursing home if they had coronavirus. From the hospital, because they wanted those beds. They wanted it just available just in case they had a bum rush of patients, so they'd send them back into their nursing home. And that's just, there's germs all over the place, spread right through those places.
Yeah.
It's killing, like, the dating pool for Poseidon just got squashed completely because of this shit.
Wait, what? You're saying I'm into old ladies?
I'm saying you're into what's available, Poseidon.
Yeah.
Whatever doesn't talk back. That's what I'm saying. So, Jim, are you right now? You're also podcasting, right?
Yeah.
How do you enjoy it now? Do you feel it's more of a necessity for comics? You're like, fuck, at this point, you guys have to have a podcast to get your word out there. Because I see a lot of people that I used to like, but they were only doing stand up. They disappeared. Like I haven't heard from them in months because they're not doing any podcasting. I don't know if that's going to hurt long term.
I don't think so. I think once everything gets back together, like a band goes away sometimes and
That's
just lays
true.
low, and then they pop up.
That's a good point. I didn't think
And
about
then all of a sudden they got a new album and a tour and stuff. So I think it's okay to go a little away for a little while. I was already doing a podcast, before this.
Yeah.
So I just continued doing it, same schedule and stuff like that. But I was in the beginning, I'm like, these comics got to relax. You don't have to all of a sudden do all of this stuff. It's going to be okay. Everybody's going through their own shit. They're not really worried about, comedians that they see in clubs once a year when they come around in their town.
Yeah, that's
not really on people's radar when they're, they really think they're going to die from this thing.
Yeah. Grandma's in critical condition. Is Kevin Hart coming or not? That's all they care about. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I didn't even think about the band thing. That's actually good. This hiatus might even help some people.
Yeah, I'm going over all old sets and going through old notebooks and just going. I have plenty of time to do it and just listening and ready to work on new material when I can get out there. I would have never got a chance to do all those stuff. I never had this free time. So maybe a lot of comics are writing jokes and really good jokes.
Yeah,
so
I wonder if Kevin Hart has. I don't know if you guys saw the documentary series about Kevin Hart, but he has he kind of lives with his barber and his hairstyle and his trainer. Oh, sure. I wonder if he let them go during the pandemic, or a guy actually has to cut his fucking hair every day, but he can't see his family anymore. You know how shitty that life must be? That you're telling your wife, look, honey, I'm sorry I can't see you. Mr. Hart needs his 4:00 haircut.
Oh, fuck, I didn't think about that. Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
Do they live on his property or something? He built like houses for them or some shit?
They travel like in the I don't know that much about him, but they travel with him. I was like, God damn, that is success.
Yeah, that's success.
You're in your private jet with your barber.
How often you need your haircut though?
Yeah.
How often is this happening? I was thinking the same thing. Like, do you need it daily?
He gets his haircut every day.
Really?
Just so that so that his hair is always exactly the same.
But if you would do it every 3 days, would there be that much of a difference?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, what's the point?
Not really.
It feels like overkill.
You could do every 2 weeks. You wouldn't even change in 2 weeks.
You know how crazy that is, though? That like as a comic, the best you have to be able to relate to the audience. You know how fucking hard it must be to relate to people when you get a haircut every day.
You know when you're on the jet with your barber, right? You know what I'm talking about, lady in the front. Yeah, with no teeth. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So fucking stupid. But that is success, though. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm actually fucking pretty proud of him, dude. That's not an easy level of success. That's extreme, right? Yeah. Because you could be super successful and not have the luxury of having your own private barber.
I cut my hair. I've actually been cutting my hair myself even before the pandemic. Like I'm at the polar opposite of Kevin Hart.
You're Kevin Hartless.
If he ever goes broke one day, he's gonna like, man, I probably shouldn't have taken my barber on tour with me.
Yeah, that's the expense he's calculating. He's like, son of a bitch.
He's like,
he'll be calling him, this is because of you, Alan.
Yeah.
I gave you a 5-star hotel. I didn't even need my haircut that weekend. And you can't right.
Fuck the
that
bill.
Must suck. You're out of money. You're driving your old fucking piece of shit car, and you see your old barber in a brand new Corvette.
Could you imagine getting that? You know how they have like the financial managers and they get the statements and then they got to check with you like, look, you don't really need to make that expense. Could you imagine getting that and calling Kevin Hart? It's like, I have one question for you, sir. Are you fucking serious? That's it. That's all I have for you. Are you fucking serious? He's like, well, look at this. That would be fucking amazing. But no,
and
I never thought about
it's not just the salary. It's the everything, You know, the meals,
the jets,
hotel,
the meal, the living conditions. That I honestly, Mike, I never thought about that, and I didn't know that he does this. But I knew somebody said to me yesterday that there's like certain houses that they built an extra house in front, so they have like the security living there. And I misunderstood. I thought, okay, they just go in, and when they're working, there's a guy in Montreal here, Poseidon. You know what I'm talking about yesterday on Gwen.
Yeah.
So and he has that, and I thought it's just like they go for their shift, but apparently the security guards live there, and then that just raised more questions. I was like, well, you can't have a family and live with another dude and his family in the same house. So are these just single young dudes that live there? One works one day. Like how the fuck? Like a campus? Like how the fuck does that work if you live there? And why do you have to live there? Why can't you live at home and just go do your shift?
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing the reason why they have it like that is so even, let's say, just in case they're off shift, if anything happens, they could still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then you have no life.
They're like voluntary firemen.
Imagine doing that to a comedian. You just live in the fucking in the attic of a comedy club, and like Florentine didn't show up. Get down here.
I was thinking like you have your regular shifts, like say you work 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
But let's say, I don't know, later on when you're playing PlayStation or whatever, video games, or you're with a girl, I don't know.
I like how you assume that all security lives your life. You're playing some video games, and maybe if you got lucky that week, you had enough money for a girl.
No. Just an example, right? And I don't know, something happens, someone tries to break in, then the security guy, he's there, you know, even though he's not there, he's there.
But I'm saying, isn't that weird for you as a worker, like you can't live your own life? What if you want to leave at that moment?
Could you have a gate with an alarm and let your security guy have an apartment nearby? Like, and the alarm rings, you hide in your basement, and then he shows up 3 minutes later. Like, I don't need my security guy to be in my fucking yard.
Yeah, living on the lawn. The guy building is like, sir, I don't think you thought this through. No, I've thought it through.
That's a very power move. That's a piece of, like, that you want to show the security guy, I own you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck, 100%.
That'd be great. Like, if he's single and, you know, he wants to hang out with a chick, he's like, look, I can't go out, but you can come here. He doesn't have to take her anywhere.
That's true.
Just get some friggin' delivery and stuff. That'd be great. Like, I can't leave.
The alarm rings.
Go to that art show, you know, but I can't.
She shows up. She sees an amazing mansion. She's like, "Oh fuck, you live there?" No, I live in the shed. I can fuck you on the step ladder if you want.
We could oversee the house. We just look at it from a distance. Babe, this could be your future. If you want to be my girlfriend, you could stare at that house your whole life. How do you build a family? Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Then again, why am I assuming? Like, I'm assuming this guy's life. Like, he wants to start a family. These guys just be like, fuck it. I have a place to live. I'm doing security. No one's robbing this place.
Plus, probably the head of security has his own house, I imagine. Because that's not the type. Like, if you have to live in a shed in front of a millionaire's house, you're not going to do that for 20 years. No. You'll get tired of it after a year and a half. You'll be like, fuck that guy.
You know what, though? The fact that we've come this far, that there are millionaires that have people living in sheds in front of their house, this is why people are mad. This is why people are angry. We fucked up somewhere. It shouldn't be like this. We ruined it.
Oh, God.
Was that bad?
And I don't know why I picture it as an actual shed, that there's a beautiful mansion, but the guy was like, fuck it, I'm going to skimp on the price of the house for my security guys. So it's just a piece of shit shack in front of his house.
I want the shed, but I'm not going over budget.
People driving by, and that's what they see, like this fucking little shit behind this mansion. Like, shouldn't the mansion be in the front?
Yeah. What the fuck is this? Yeah.
He's trying to save money on property taxes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he just writes in the shed every year.
That's his address. He has to get his mail there.
Just to bring the property value down.
Yeah.
And
he has to
the
get his
security
mail
guard's
there.
complaining, so the owner just smacks on some lights to make it look prettier.
Oh, Poseidon, we were having a great time with this bit.
I killed the joke.
So
I killed the
joke. You killed everything. You murdered comedy.
You did what your mother should have done 26 years ago. So here's the thing. Jim, it's going to be in the description, but I want to remind people, where do you want them to find you? Where should they go?
Well, I do my podcast every Monday and Thursday. Everybody is awful.
Yeah.
It's on Barstool Sports. You get it wherever you get podcasts. And, I don't know, my website, JimFlorentine.com and whatever, and all the shit's there.
Yeah, and if you're not going to remember, just click on the description. Just go fucking find it, click on it. It's going to be the first thing up there. Go to Jim's website, fucking check out the Twitter, subscribe to the podcast. Don't act like you have enough podcasts to listen to. You know there's always fucking more, all right? And this is a podcast you should be listening to.
There are always more. I listen to a ton of them. I love them. I got them, always loaded, ready to go. And I do 2 a week, so, if they're into it.
2 a week is good because people complain. Like us, we did 2 a week for a while. Now we do 1. And that's the only complaint I ever hear is that. It's like, how come you guys don't put a second one? How come you guys don't put a second one? But it's hard, especially now that we're not in the studio anymore. We're doing it through fucking Skype. And it doesn't have the same feel. Like, if right now we were in the same room, the 4 of us, it would be way fucking better seeing each other shooting the shit. So it's harder to get that rapport. So we don't want to do 2 a week and then look back at it in a year and be like, fuck, remember those shit times? Wait till things get back to normal.
You're right. So you guys used to do 2 a week though until everything happened.
Actually, a month or two before, we used to release like 1 full episode and then 1 shorter one. 1 full episode on Friday and then 1 shorter one. And then we said let's just focus on 1 for a bit. And then we got the complaint of you should do 2. And then we talked about it. We're like, well, maybe we'll see what our schedule is like. Maybe we'll release 2. And then this happened, so we never even talked about it. We just said fuck it. We'll stick to 1 and we'll try our best with Skype, Zoom.
2, 1's sometimes a pain in the ass, getting everyone together and, having fresh topics to talk about. 2 is a bigger pain in the ass.
Yeah, especially with us because...
Way more of a commitment. It's double the commitment, basically.
How often do you like to get guests on your show?
I don't do guests. I do it solo.
There we go. You solved one of your biggest fucking problems is that us, because we're in Montreal and there's not that many comedians here. So if we would only depend on guests, the show would run flat really quickly because we'd be fucked. At least in New York, even if you wanted to do something guest-driven, people are in and out. There's someone. Us, it's even harder. So we said, fuck it, depend on ourselves, just be funny. And it's the only thing you can do because we were handicapped in the beginning. We wanted to make it a guest show, and we realized 2-3 episodes in, we're like, we're going to run out of guests in a week. So,
well, I knew when I started, I was like, I don't want to worry about booking comedians or whatever, and then they don't show up, and I'm traveling. And I gotta, my off day, try to find this guy in New York, and he blows me off. So I could just do my podcast. I do it wherever. I always did it on the road, in a hotel room, at my house, or whatever. I was doing it in the studio until everything got shut down, but for Barstool. So I just made it easier on myself, not really worrying about guests.
It was the smartest move. That's what. We're lucky that we did that because we've discussed it many times. Like, fuck, imagine in Montreal trying to get a new guest all the time. Who's coming here that often? That we're going to get a lot of comics up here. If it's not doing just for laughs, most of you guys are down. We always see you guys when we come down. It's very rare to see you guys other parts of the year here. Yeah. It would have been impossible.
No, ever since Jimbo's room closed at Comedy Works, I would go up there once a year. I haven't been up there probably 6-7 years or something in Montreal.
Really? I've heard that from comics that they've never even thought about the Comedy Nest here. It's the one English club we have, or they've never been approached, or they never thought. I don't know, maybe fucking, because Mike has his own club. He actually has a second one opening up. We should think about fucking English, just bringing all our friends up for shows. Because Mike's room.
I would love to do it. It's only like a 5-6 hour drive, from New York, New Jersey area up to Montreal. It's an easy ride.
And there's a lot of New Yorkers that we know, like stand up, you guys are fucking good. So it would be, it's not a bad idea.
We'd love to have you when all this shit is over.
I would love to. It was one of my favorite cities to perform in. I always loved Montreal. It's just a great city, too.
Yeah, it's fun. But you know what I think? I think because when you'd come in the summer, let's say if it was like doing a festival, I think it's funner because you see everyone that you don't see throughout the year because it's rare that, everyone's in the same place at the same time. So I think that adds to it. Because I know for me, it's a special feeling, too, because, the summer's the only time where everyone's at the same fucking spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's not to say it's not fun during the year. Especially if you're with us. You're going to have a fucking good time, Jim.
Of course.
That goes without question. But so check out Jim Florentine. Mr. Mike Ward, anything you want me to remind people apart from Mike Ward CA, Sous Écoute, which is the #1 French language comedy podcast on the planet right now. So if you speak French, go check out Mike's French podcast. He's just fucking tearing it up. You can find Poseidon at the Poseidon 69 and at your local brothel. Possibly committing hate crimes outside of it as well.
Or sliding down like a retarded 7-year-old.
Yeah, that's where you're going to find him. So that's it. Thank you guys for listening, for watching.
Comedy,
PantelisComedy.com for all of my stuff. You guys know where to find it. Find me on Twitter. It doesn't matter. Just go to the website. So Jim Florentine, thank you for doing this, and thank you guys for checking this out. And remember, guys, go fuck yourselves.